Let's experiment with some other types of filters, and we'll start with this simple sound. And you can definitely recreate this in most synthesizers. I have one oscillator that is on sawtooth, and I have unison voices, and we have a low pass filter. And we already know what's going on here. So if you'll play with the cutoff, you'll get those distinct sounds. But let's change this to band pass filter. So I'm going into classic and taking the band pass 24 dBs per octave. So it's kind of a mountain, a little mountain. And depending on where we place it, that will cut off some of the lows, some of the highs. And it sounds very nasally. And what we can do here, we can modulate this in different ways. So the first option for me would be, for example, envelope 2. And we can go all the way, but for now, let's go 50% up. So it means it's going to sort of slide to the right. And here it is very important to place the cutoff at the starting point where it makes sense. And if we'll get a little bit of resonance, that will be kind of more sharp or nasally. And now let's change this to a phaser. So I'm going to select the phaser filter type, and you'll see that we have this dip. So I'm going to change the number of poles. We'll have more of these dips. So anything that is blue, that's going to play. These are frequencies that are playing. We're going to hear them. And where you see those dips, that's where we're cutting away frequencies. And it really, again, make a lot of difference where you put the cutoff, where you're starting from. Now, comb filtering will give you a sound that is very similar to a flanger. Now, formant is a type of filter that mimics the human voice. And here again, we have the frequency shift that is equivalent of the cutoff point. But we also have morphing. So you can definitely modulate that, or you can stick to one particular morph type or sound or vowel, but we can click this and select, for example, something like an LFO, and it can go, let's say, 30%. And again, the starting point will be very significant for the kind of sound that you're going to get. Now, starting with Pigments version 6, they've added a cluster type of filter. This is very interesting. And as you can see, we have two peaks here. And it means that we have more cutoff points and we can spread them. And they sound really, really nice. You might also find a surgeon notch type of a filter, and it means that we have this very wide dip in our frequency spectrum. And again, it really depends of what you're looking for and how you're going to modulate this. Right now, again, we're using envelope 2, but we can change this to something else in a minute. And let's replace this with an LFO. So as you can see, this can be very, very creative. So these are very common filter types, and what you need to do is experiment and try different types of filters on different types of oscillators and wave shapes, and this will give you a lot of possibilities.